Yo, what up nerds? How's everyone doing? Let me bring the music down here. The light's a little dark. Oh, that's because Alexa setup. Light's a little dark because Angry Buddha was crying that my room is a little too red and how he doesn't like the red color. Well, you know what? Fuck you, Angry Buddha. Alexa, light's red. We're gonna put the lights back to red, what it was and what it is and how we like it. However, though, the Polymarket blue does look good, but it doesn't match well with the wall colors. The wall colors, you know, obviously red, you know, watch Alexa, lights blue. It just doesn't mix well with the wall color. The wall color is so dark. It's the wall color was you know, white or something different. I think the blue would have really went well, but because, you know, the blue just doesn't mix well with this darkness, we're just gonna stick with our original red theme, or maybe even turn the light on over here. Let's see. Turn this light on and see if that looks a little bit better. Yeah, now you see, you can't even see the blue at all in the top light. The top light gets completely nullified, and the room is now back to just looking red as it is. So I don't know. Angry Buddha was complaining about the room color a little bit, but nah, I'm gonna stick to my red. We're gonna turn off this light here. Alexa, lights red. We're gonna stick to red. We're gonna turn off the lights, and we're gonna stick to how I like it. Cause this stream is about me. The stream is not about Angry Buddha. It's about me and how I like to stream and how I like to talk stocks. So I hope you like it too. If not, boo-hoo. Tough luck, everybody. All right, let's talk about market. Market once again at a new all-time high, folks. Shout out to QQQ. Mainly Nvidia driving the market to the upside because they announced a partnership with Nokia. They're gonna work on 6G a network. I have yet to see 5G network. What the hell's going on with my hair here? I've yet to see 5G network come out properly. You know, I think my phone's still on LTE, or is it on 5G now? I'm not sure, but realistically, I've yet to see 5G properly be established into the markets, but they're already talking about transitioning over to 6G. What's going on over here? Maybe I'm just on old technology and I don't even know about it. But yeah, good to see that Nvidia is carrying the market back up to the north side. You also had a pop in Microsoft today and in Apple. Well, Apple didn't really pop, but Apple popped yesterday. Microsoft popped today. That took Microsoft right back to being the #2 largest company by market cap, and that took Apple back down, even though we did place some bets yesterday that Apple will be the largest market cap stock. Microsoft wanted to come and contend that for a little bit. That's on store. Obviously, if you read the title of the stream on whatever platform you're watching me on, the title talks about SOFI. That one's at a new all-time high. You guys know how long I've had SOFI in my account. I don't have SOFI anymore, but I've had SOFI in my account for a very long time, and it's good to see that it's now making a push above $30 finally. It struggled a little bit around 30, but finally pushing above 30. PayPal's moving around, Wayfair, UNH. There's a lot of names to talk about, and also some new fresh earnings today after hours. Tomorrow there is interest rate decisions along with more earnings names in the pre-market and in the after hours, so we have a lot to talk about. Let's go to the full screen and dive right in. On my screen right now I have the Apple chart, but before we go into that, let's actually pull up the earnings calendar and show you guys what's in store for today after hours. So obviously SoFi, as I mentioned earlier in pre-market, reporting a double beat on EPS and on revenue. Originally pulled back off the open, but later on in the day managed to continue riding to the upside. Booking Holding reported today after hours. Seagate Technologies, that's pretty interesting. I didn't see that one on the board. Bloom Energy is also a good one to keep an eye on. There's actually a lot of names over here that we're gonna glance over and see if there's any trade ideas to be involved in. Some stocks in the pre-market, obviously Verizon, Boeing, CVS, Caterpillar, Etsy. Those are some big names right there, but the bigger names are naturally after hours. Those are your Mag 7 names such as Meta, Microsoft, Alphabet. Carvana, not a Mag 7, but a very important name nevertheless. Then you have Amazon, Apple, Coinbase, Reddit, Western Digital, MicroStrategy, Roku, Cloudflare, Riot, all reporting Thursday after hours. Those are some of the hot movers from the last earnings season going into the one we are now participating in. So lots of importance over there. Thursday, Roblox. I want to be interested in Roblox. But tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow's FOMC day, interest rates day. So we'll do some research about that. We'll see what Powell is expected to say. What does Polymarket think Powell is gonna say and not say on the speech? What does Polymarket think that interest rate decisions going to be? What is the CME rate tool going to think interest rate decisions are gonna come up to? And all things that are basically alpha, anything that is need to know basis. You're in the right spot for that. Need to know basis for tomorrow as a day trader, as a swing trader. I'll try and cover all of that hot names for you. I'm gonna bring this to my other screen over here. That way I have it ready to glance. You're not gonna see the screen. You're only gonna see this screen on the right side. So if you guys do want to see the earnings board or anything like that, make sure you throw it in the chat and we'll obviously talk about it. So far in the chat, we got Josh and TH coming in and saying that Brendan went on about predictive betting. Yeah, of course, because he's a fucking loser. He just wants to do whatever I do. He wants to copy what I want to do, but he doesn't want to pay me the money that I was asking for when I was hosting for his stupid ass show. Brendan, Sean can eat a dick for all I care. Brendan and Sean can go fuck themselves. Only person I care about is Neil and Obi. Obviously, Obi matters. He's the boy. But Neil, in terms of the top 3 people that work in that company, they're rats. They're absolute scumbags. And those are not people you want to hang out with. They're not people you want to trust with anything. So Sean and Brendan can eat a dick for all I care. Anyways, let's talk about the market, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're here for. Let's start with earnings after hours because those are some of the hot movers so far. We got ENPH dropping down into the range lows, previous range lows over here around 34.50. Looks like earnings miss. We were trading at $36 today, but an earnings miss taking ENPH right to the downside. I want to see Bloom Energy. How are you doing? Ooh, look at BE. BE bouncing right back after the most recent sell-off. This stock has been on a monster run up recently, and a little bit of a sell-off along with nuclear energy names, along with quantum names and so on, but nice move back over here. And with the earnings report, you can see how the stock basically got above this 2-day high, pushed into $120 over here. That's going to be an interesting name for tomorrow. Booking Holdings, not really something that I care to trade. It's a $5,000 name. I'm not trading $5,000 names as a day trade, just not yet at least. So I'm going to ignore Booking Holdings, but also a name that's moving around off of the earnings report for those of you interested. The one that I care about more, Seagate Technologies. Look at that awesome hold around $210. Beautiful bottom around $210. Just simply not able to close below $210 for multiple days. A little bit back and forth action. And now with the earnings report, looks like a positive earnings report and they want to push the stock back up higher. Seagate for sure on watch for tomorrow. Visa looks like a nothing burger, a dead move over here. Basically inside today's candle after the earnings report, possibly some more leakage or a move to the downside, or even a breakout and a move to the upside above 350. But besides that, I really don't care what the stock does. Like, if it's stuck between 350 and 344.50 tomorrow, I really don't care what happens in this range. If we're above this range, then I'm interested to see if we can get a dip buy. If we're below this range, then I'm interested to see if we can get a pop to sell into. But in this range, I'm just not interested. There could be a trade here to short, there could be a trade here to long, and there could be a trade here to go short, and there could be a trade here to go long. Those are the only four very simple, plain scenarios that I'm interested in. The reason why I say things like that, guys, is because it makes your life just simple, right? Keep it simple, keep it, what is it? Keep it simple, stupid, kiss, right? So keep it simple for yourselves. Don't make things too complicated. For example, in one of my Discord servers, my trading buddies was complaining that they didn't want to trade SOFI today because SOFI on the daily chart looks a little extended. So what? It's a earnings name. It's trading over like, you know, more than its relative volume, and relatively it trades 100 million. It's trading nearly 150 200 million today, almost equivalent to what it traded on the last earnings report, which, by the way, we haven't gotten under at all if you put in the earnings anchor VWAP. So all things considered, it's like, okay, who cares if the stock has had multiple days run up? We're still in a bull flag. We're still in a very bullish scenario on the market. For example, QQQ is at an all-time high. Who cares if this is you know, little extended? So I got a little angry at that guy today, because look at this trade over here, man. Make it simple for yourself. You know, saying things like, I don't want to trade SOFI because it looks extended, you just missed out on a monster long opportunity over here, right? Just as simple as, is the stock holding above $30? Originally off the open, it did not. So is there a long? No. There could have been a short back through 30. I didn't care about that. But what was very interesting is the action over here. You can see how after selling off of below 30, reclaims 28, reclaims 29, gets back into this $30 area right here, not able to get below 29.80, and you can see by this candle is very indicative. That candle shows you that we tried to get below the support of 29.80, and as soon as we got below 29.80, look at this, buyers came right back in and pushed the stock right back to the upside. So basically a stop run over here to the shorts, where they trapped the shorts to get back inside, and then over here some shorts probably added to their trade after the stock got below 29.80, and then once they got blown out, the same buyer that was initiating the buy from here kicked back in and positioned themselves to ride back to the upside. You can see that by putting in an anchored VWAP over there from the low, and you can see how basically as we dip into that anchored VWAP, buyers step right back in, take the name to a new all-time high above 30. I'm not saying you have to catch it down here, guys. This is all you need. This move is all you need. 5% move right there for literally doing nothing on the day, for having a simple game plan. A game plan as simple as, if the stock is above $30, I will go long. If it's not above $30, I will not go long. It's so simple, right? So if you just take this methodology for Visa that I just talked about, you can see how the after hour move is actually, you know, it tried to get above 350, failed. They tried to get below 344.50, it failed. It wants to be in this range. Go ahead. I don't care if you're going to do that. But much like SOFI, if you're able to get above here or below here, that makes things very interesting and a much easier trade. Make things as easy as they can be for you. Don't complicate it, okay? EA reporting today after hours, and looks like they took a little bit of a nosedive, but it shouldn't matter at all because EA is being acquired for $210. Until the deal falls apart, I don't think this is a short at all. Even though the earnings report seems to have been a miss, this is not a short, because they're getting bought out for, if I remember correctly, it was $210. So just be careful. Don't get trapped into this earnings move over here. This is a buyout. This is a merger and acquisition name. So be very careful over there. Cheesecake Factory, I mean, do I really care about Cheesecake Factory? I don't think I do. Very low volume for a $50 stock, 3 million shares. I mean, who cares about that, right? There's better names out there to be involved in, especially when we are in an earnings season, when the market's taking out all-time highs. There are so many easier names to put yourself, open exposure to yourself into, that you don't have to be trading these low liquidity names, right? Look at PayPal. Monster move on PayPal today. They announced a partnership with ChatGPT. Previously, Google announced that they're going to partner with PayPal in order to create the automation feature. It's called an agent. To create an automation feature agent that will help you expedite the process of buying things using AI, like checking out a movie ticket, or buying a airplane ticket, or buying groceries, or buying shoes. All of these tasks, eventually they want to automate it through the web browser to the point where you're not typing queries, you're just asking a robot, much like Jarvis, for example. This is actually a good way to show you exactly how that's gonna work. We turn on the assistant, turn on the voice mode, and ask it to go to YouTube and open the latest SMB Capital video. That didn't work out because it was listening to me talk from all the way from the start. So let's try it again. Open the latest SMB Capital video.
Sure. Here are a few recent videos about the Capitol. There's a brand new one showing the U.S. Capitol Christmas tree arriving from Nevada.
No, that's not what I asked for. I asked for a YouTube channel named SMB Capital opened up their latest video. What the? Come on, man. You used to work. What happened to you? Open SMB Capital YouTube channel.
The official SMB Capital YouTube channel can be found at this link: https://www.user/.
No, open it. I don't want the link. Why are you giving me the link? Open it. Thank you. So we had to jump through some hoops and we had to jump through some hoops for that, but it worked, right? But it worked. So they want to automate things like this where users are not even using their keyboard. They're just talking to an AI agent, and the AI agent basically does all the work for you. I could possibly ask it, what was EA Electronic Arts earnings report today?
Yes, Electronic Arts released their earnings report today. They reported second quarter EPS of 54 cents, which was 76 cents below estimates, and revenue of $1.82 billion, below the $1.87 billion estimate. Net bookings were down 13% year over year.
Right? So you can see the idea behind it. Obviously, it's not as fast. I type at like 100 words per minute, so it's not as fast as me, that's for sure. You also had to see how I had to jump through hoops just to make that work, but eventually that's the vision. So PayPal joining Google first and then joining ChatGPT just shows you that people are looking to partner with already existing companies that do things like that. I think Uber also made a move today. Made a move down into the close because of the robo-taxi news, which means Tesla probably went up a little bit. No, Tesla didn't actually go up at all. Interesting. Okay. Angry Buddha's in the house. Angry, we tried to change the colors. The colors look ugly. We're sticking to the red because that's my favorite color. So we're not gonna change that anymore. All right, got some bugs to work out. Obviously, look, it's still in its infancy, guys. Like, you know, these AI tools are not at the level that, you know, I would like for them to be, but it's close enough to that point. Try assistant in action. Let's see what it does over here. Take over control and queue up a feel-good movie from the 90s that I haven't yet watched yet. Sometimes it screws up. Maybe I don't want you to take over my Netflix account. Is there something else you can do? It's trying to take over my Netflix account. I don't want you to do that, so we're not going to keep trying to do that one. I'm trying to show you guys other important, cool little use cases for this. Anyways, that's not what you're here for. Let's just go back to the market and talk about stocks, yeah? What's your take on AAPU ahead of the 30th? What is AAPU? Apple shares leverage. Okay. You're basically just asking about Apple at that point. Man, my phlegm is still bothering me. All right. You're basically talking about Apple here. How does Apple react to its earnings report is basically what you're asking. They do report on the 30th of October. No, they report tomorrow. They report... Oh no, they do report on the 30th of October. Okay, so yeah, 30th of October with Amazon and Coinbase, Apple. I'm not a fortune teller, right? I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know what the future holds. But what we can do... Let me bring this back. But what we can do is use a couple tools at our disposal, see how people are expecting. Currently, Apple is expected to beat its earnings report by 85% probability, but it's not a lot of money being put onto it. $20,000 is actually not a lot. You can move this market by yourself. If you just pile into the no, you can basically move this market pretty drastically to the downside and make people think that you know something. So $20,000 is actually not a lot of money. So it's hard to see that 85% and be like, you know what, maybe we can actually use that as alpha. But surprisingly enough, MicroStrategy equal volume, and they're expecting it to have a 30% chance of beating its earnings report. So maybe somebody actually knows something over here, because usually the trend is that they usually just go for a stock to beat. It's very rare that you see people betting on a stock to not beat their earnings report on Polymarket. So seeing Etsy and seeing MicroStrategy is actually makes me a little happy, because now we're seeing a little bit more sophisticated traders entering prediction market. They are now looking to not only always say that these stocks are going to beat earnings, some stocks they're also thinking about how they could possibly miss out on earnings. Continuing back to the Apple question though, look, I'm not an Apple lover. You know a big thing about me is I've been an Apple hater my whole life. I'm not an Apple product guy. But when I do see something that deserves the flowers, I have to give it to them, right? So the flowers over here for Apple are the fact that apparently Apple 16 and 17 sales are going up in China and America. In fact, I know a lot of people who were going to switch to Android, and as soon as they saw the shiny little iPhone 17 with bi-color, you know, that orange case that has a little bit of a lighter shade orange on the bottom side, and then it has a brighter shade orange on the outer side. Bullshit if you ask me. You know, absolute same phone rebranded as a new one every single time. But it's even funny to me to think that Apple, people buy Apple products now but don't realize that you're basically paying for a Google product. Apple Siri is basically going to be backed by Google or backed by ChatGPT. Apple hasn't innovated in so long, and people still go to buying Apple products like they fangirl over it. They make lines around the block of when the new phone comes out. It's just mind-blowing to me to see these things coming out like that. But when you see it, you can't ignore it. You have to acknowledge the fact that people will go buy the brand new iPhone no matter what. My stepsister, she needs to have the brand new iPhone every single time it comes out. She just has to have it. She can't live without it. So, all these things combined is just like, how can you hate on Apple as a stock? You just can't. It's impossible to hate on Apple as a stock, and that's why I own Apple shares, but I don't own Apple products. I like making money, so I own Apple shares, but I don't own Apple products. The big rant basically to say I don't know what to expect, and that's natural for futures, not for futures, for earnings for any stock. You don't know what you don't know, right? You could come in and say, yeah, they're gonna beat, but you don't know. You simply don't know the answer. And that's why I don't like to gamble. Oh wow, this is basically sitting here listening to every single word I say. That's why I don't like to gamble on earnings names. When stocks report earnings, I just stay away. I don't trade them on the day of. I don't trade them when they're reporting. I will trade them the next day. Give me a earnings trade the next day and I'll gladly trade that. SOFI today, I would have traded it after the earnings, not yesterday, not the day before that, not a whole week into that. So I just don't like gambling. You know, a lot of people love to gamble on these names like that. It's not something I like to do. I think there's better trades always after the fact, when the report comes out and you get the information digested. Usually the first move on a stock is retail, right? Whoa, what the hell? Usually the first move on a stock is, that's probably dark pool. Usually the first move on a stock, is there news right now coming out? Usually the first move on a stock is retail, or people, you know, trying to take their losses before they have to. The real trade on stocks happen later on in the day when big money steps in, even the day after. So the trend, how it works is you know, a company reports earnings report, then interns, market interns, hedge fund interns, they analyze the report. They create an action study. They create a document to submit to their higher ups. Their higher ups then spend the rest of the day to analyze the information, and then the next day is usually when they turn on the program to buy some shares, or turn off the program to not buy any more shares because the stock is too high or whatever. So tomorrow, I would not be surprised if SOFI goes on an insane run above 32. Why? Because that's showing me that hedge funds, big money, actual money, not retail, not Diego Carvalho, not Pratamesh Akiraju, not, I don't even know Angry Buddha's name, not Josh Blinzler. You know, we are not the people who move these stocks. The people who move these stocks, you will see them coming in very obviously. So just wait for them to come in and then participate with them. Apple, with its current trajectory, I think it keeps going higher. That's just, you know, a shot in the dark, just throwing a dart on the dartboard. What if they report negative? What if the numbers that people were expecting that caused this move up are all wrong and they all get bagged? So I much rather wait to trade on the information than have to predict and you know, gamble on the information. So just wait. Couple days left for this. You know, not too much time left for that. Just wait a couple days and enjoy that move when it comes out. Tomorrow you have FOMC, 21 hours exactly until FOMC coming in. That is currently, oh wow, 99.9% probability that we are going to get a rate cut of a 25 beeps. Currently market is at 4.25% interest rates. We are now pricing in at a 99.9% probability that we are going to get a 25 beeps rate cut. That means, you know, there's a high chance we don't get a 50 beeps rate cut. This is a very accurate tool. These tools get it wrong almost never, right? Maybe once during the COVID era when interest rates were going up and things were going bad, these tools got it wrong once. I remember very briefly, got it wrong once, but ever since then it's been 100% accurate. So you want to be careful, you know, betting against this. At the same time, let's go check out what poly market participants are currently pricing in the Fed rate decision. And you can see even over here, damn it, man, Toronto Blue Jays yesterday. Did you guys watch the game yesterday? God damn it. Anyways, You can see over here since September of 2025, 5th September, market was actually pricing in a 25 beeps rate cut very heavily since then. Since September 4th, we were trading at around 44% probability, and ever since then we've been going up slowly, now trading at a 98.4% probability that we are going to get a rate cut of 25 beeps. And if you actually look at the rate tool here, where'd it go? If you look at the rate tool, they're saying 99% probability. So if that's the case, if you do a Kelly criterion, I'm sure quarter Kelly would basically tell you to put in about 25% of your buying power. Currently my buying power is only 50 bucks on this account. 25% of your buying power should go into buying yes over here, in case you do believe that it's gonna play out. I'm not interested in picking up pennies. How much would I be making? I would be making about 40 cents if I bought this at 94.8, which honestly, spending $24.60 to make 40 cents in the span of 22 hours is not worth my time. The return on investment over there is just simply not worth it. I think there's better ways for me to make 40 cents in 24 hours, so I'm not gonna do it. But had you have a lot more buying power, let's say you have $100,000 that you can throw into it, and if you throw in $98,000 and $98,400, you're basically making $2,000 in about 24 hours. Now that adds up, right? So obviously when you're spending more money on these higher price things, you end up making a better notional amount that sits well with you. But at the end of the day, it's all percentages. If you saw 30 cents on the floor, would you pick it up? Probably not, because you're not that broke. But if you were, would you pick it up? Right? So this is basically them offering free 2% on the market, not full 2%. You're getting about 1.6%, but basically you're getting about 2% free return in 24 hours for those interested. And this is called bonding. When you buy a market that is almost guaranteed to resolute in a certain price range, and has very low risk to lose on it. $35 million so far placed on this to close at on the yes side. That's very interesting. So it looks like the market is overall pricing in a rate cut without a doubt, and that would generally mean the market should go upside tomorrow at 2 o'clock and 2:30. We'll see if it plays out that way. If Powell comes out with a surprise 50 beeps rate cut, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but if Powell comes out with a surprise 50 beeps rate cut, that's gonna be an opportunity to be involved in. Trump yesterday at the Japan troops U.S. George Washington speech, he was talking about Powell. He was basically talking about tariffs, Powell. And he said, I call him Too Slow Powell, Jerome Too Slow Powell, basically bullying him into cutting rates quicker. Powell's not gonna get bullied into that, but if that happens, that will be an interesting event, because you can expect the market to absolutely fly off tomorrow if we do get a 50 beeps cut. Not happening though. The game ended past 3 a.m. on the East Coast. Oh, buddy, you don't need to tell me. I was up the whole night. Watching that game. What was it, like 6.5 hours of that game? After I finished the stream with you guys, I calmed down for a little bit, and then I pulled up the game, and the game went forever, man. Oh my god. I couldn't stay awake. Like it was so long. I stayed awake. I was up till 3 o'clock, and then I also ended up watching Trump giving the speech to the troops. I ended up making good money on that, even though you don't see any growth on the account here because we took some losses elsewhere. But I ended up making nice little wins on these positions over here. out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 positions on the Trump market, we ended up winning 6 of them and we lost 3 of them. So overall profitable on the Trump mentioned market. There is another Trump mentioned market coming up tonight, so that will be something for me to do some research. Where is the link? There you go. So there is another mentioned market coming up tonight. That will be interesting. EA mentioned market happening right now. And if you guys remember how... Oh, did I just see 80 cents somewhere? Oh, it was a bug. I did not see 80 cents. And if you guys remember, EA not having its conference call at all. So this market should resolve to no, basically. Basically should resolve to no. Okay. This meeting over here, what will Trump say during Korea's CEO's luncheon on October? What the fuck is a luncheon? Okay, whatever. I'm gonna have to do some research about what exactly this event is, what he's gonna talk about in that event, and hopefully I'll be able to figure out what some words that might be said and might not be said, because this is part science, part art. You mentioned markets. You could use tools like roll call, transcripts, but this is part science, part art. Knowing that your boy Trump rambles a lot. For example, yesterday when he's talking to the troops, why would you say tariffs when you're talking to the troops? It doesn't make any sense. You're talking to the troops about the military power, about the submarines, about ships, about airplanes, missiles, and then out of nowhere, he just slips in tariffs, and he says tariffs like 5 times in a row. Like, dude, come on. Why would you say that? Like, once, twice, thrice, cool. But he just literally says tariff, 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 tariff 5 times in a row back to back. Like, come on, man. What's wrong with you? I don't get this guy. But that's the point. Sometimes you gotta know the words he might say or might not say. For example, when he was with troops yesterday, I was very confident that he would not say Kim Jong-un or President Xi, and he didn't. We made money on that. Chances are, since he is meeting with Korea, he could say, I have a meeting with the president of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, or something like that. So maybe he could say something. AI is trading at a pretty high strike price, probably because he's talking up to CEOs, probably to CEOs of technology companies, and that's why you're seeing Nvidia and Google over here. So AI at an 87% probability might actually be accurate. That's not too wrong over there. But at the same time, North Korea is trading pretty high. So why is North Korea trading at 69% and Kim Jong-un's trading at 47%? That doesn't seem accurate. You think he would say North Korea without saying Kim Jong-un? I don't think so. I think he would say both, or he would say neither. So one of them is at a discount. If you believe that he would say it, that's probably a good buy here. King? I don't think he's gonna say king. There's no king of South Korea. Is there? Is South Korea based on king? I'm pretty sure it's not. Run by Samsung. I love that query. Someone actually put that. South Korea is not run by a king. It's a constitutional democracy. Okay, there you go. So it's not run by king. Unless there is some sort of a king showing up to the event, I don't see why he would use that word. Or maybe he's talking about the Saudi Arabian king who is also involved in the Operation Stargate, the whole AI project, the whole technology project, in which case he could say the crown king of Saudi Arabia or the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, something like that. So maybe this is a good one to just skip if this event is about, you know, technology and AI and so on. Could be a good one to just skip, to be careful. If this is about technology and AI, Nvidia and Google are a good buy at 69 cents. Boeing, I think no King's rally mentioned. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna talk about that, right? Why would he say something against himself? Bitcoin trading at a no at 93% is actually accurate in my opinion. That looks good. The Pacific is trading pretty high. He could talk about it because he has a lot of ships deployed in the Pacific Ocean. You know, this market is actually not that good if I look at it. Yesterday's market was so much better, easier to read. We knew exactly he was talking to the troops, so I put down bets on you know, military words and so on. But this one is not exactly as simple as the last one. I could maybe even skip this or even trade this live. In fact, this happens at 12 o'clock at night. If I remember correctly, this happens at 12 o'clock at night, which means, yeah, 11:05, 12, which means probably I could go live and we could trade this live if possible and see how that plays out. Chances are I'm not gonna get too many fills if I'm trading this live because there's too many robots these days. There's people who use bots to trade this live, but I'm gonna see what I can do. I'll let you guys know on Twitter if I go long or not. Sorry, if I go live or not for this event tonight. And I would love for you guys to show up in case that I do go. So make sure you're following me on all of my social media up here, from YouTube to Twitter to all the streaming platforms. I'm still having to deal with my account being lost on Discord. So Angry Buddha, if you see anything fishy happening with my account, especially in the Discord server, please just tell people to be careful because I don't have access to my Discord account at the moment. Discord is being very annoying in helping me retrieve my account. Their support system sucks. Discord, your support system is dog shit. Absolute horrendous. Like I can't even log into my account right now with the email that I used to use. I'm trying to reset password and it won't let me reset the password because it's not sending my email to the fucking account. And if I type in my phone number to log in, it says I need to reset the password. But guess what? The password is not being sent at all, or the email is not being triggered and sent to the email. So fucking Discord is so annoying. Having to deal with because their support system sucks. They absolute horrendous support system. So Angry Buddha, if you see any suspicious activity from my account on Discord, please you know, let me know, but also warn people on the server to be very careful. Do not respond to messages from me, especially if I'm asking for crypto or money or anything. Be very careful out there, guys. A couple sponsors that I have you know, helping me, couple sponsors for the stream, for my trading, for Polymarket. Go check out all my affiliate sponsor links over here. You will not regret it, especially if you want to figure out, you know, what tools that I use for day trading. These are the go-to tools that you want to be involved with. Okay, all right. Putting that aside, coming back to the market real quick, you know, lots of movers for earnings right now, so be ready. Be ready. I'm gonna repeat what I said yesterday. Just pick one or two good movers and stick to that. You don't need to play Pokemon. You don't gotta catch them all, right? There's good names today after hours. There's great names tomorrow pre-market. There's also some names that reported today. UPS, SOFI, PayPal, all of them making a move to the upside. So, you know, pick a name, figure out what you want to do with it, and just wait for that to happen. In this case for SOFI, I'm going to use that $30 level again. If we pull back to 30 and show me support around 30, I think there is an easy long from 30 back into today's high. But if SOFI is getting ready to get above 32, then I want to be very, very ready to take that 32 trade. So create a game plan and make sure that you're sticking to the game plan. Lots of names on board, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of names. NXPI was another one. Etsy tomorrow pre-market, that one looking good, like for a breakout over here above 76.50. So watch Etsy. Fiserv, I'm not gonna care about that. Caterpillar is a good one. Whoa, Caterpillar is now at 500. What the? I did not see that one come in. So a little extended over here on Caterpillar, but worth watching, especially if it reports horribly. Boeing is always a good one to watch for the earnings report. A breakout above 226 is potentially something to keep an eye out for. What else is in the name tomorrow? Verizon, I'm not as interested, but you know, I've traded Verizon before. Let's go pull up Verizon. Yeah, I'm not interested in Verizon. There's better names out there. ENPH, I just mentioned to you guys not too long ago. If it gets below this 33, 34, potentially some more downside over there. Lots of names, guys, lots of names and lots of opportunities. I think that's basically all she wrote though for tonight's stream. I'm gonna take a break, do some research on oh, actually no, we got one more thing to talk about. Almost forgot. IPO calendar, because IPOs are coming in again. I think tomorrow you have an IPO that is not interesting at all. It was an acquisition corp. That one was today. Apex, also another acquisition corp, not interesting. But here's the one we care about. This is on the 30th of October, so I'll talk about this tomorrow. But for those of you who want to do the homework, a little bit of a research before me, then you can dive right into it by looking at the ticker NAVN. So tomorrow, make sure you tune in. We're gonna talk about Navan Inc. What is this company? What do they do? Are they profitable? Are they worth watching? Are they hyped up or not? And all other little tidbits around that. So make sure you tune in for that tomorrow, 4:30 p.m., ladies and gentlemen. And that is all she wrote. I'm loving this new layout. You guys like this new layout? See how information is nice and clean. You know, you get to see my beautiful face at the same time. You get to see all the information, and it makes my life 10 times easier to make shorts, which I need to get to. Any earnings tomorrow pre-market that is currently being bet as a miss? Looks like Boeing. Wow, 38% probability that Boeing is going to miss its earnings report. Sorry, 38% probability only that Boeing is going to beat its earnings report. That means if you flip this, it's trading at a 62% probability that they will not beat their earnings report. Very interesting. DJT had a news today. Yes, they did have a news today. DJT is going to be involved in prediction markets now. Isn't that funny? Everyone wants a piece of prediction markets now. Huh? Prad starts talking about it, and then Robinhood starts launching prediction markets, and then Binance CEO who got pardoned now wants to launch prediction markets. Everyone wants a piece of the prediction market. I'm telling you, this is the new way of trading stocks, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show you a nice little trade opportunity here if I can real quick. Okay, let's go to crypto. Remember how I talked about how these are gambling? You never want to do this. Well, let's do this real quick. Okay, BTC USDT. So let's go to the hourly chart. 1 hour. Ooh, Bitcoin. What happened? Bitcoin took a nosedive. 41 minutes left in this hour, because it's 5:20. That makes sense. What was the close of this candle? 11,2808, and we're trading at 11,2759. We are popping up. We are popping up here. So I think there's a chance that we can actually buy the up. Ah, it's already too late. It's already trading at 40%. That looks like a bounce. That looks like a bounce. We have a buyer here. 11. 808, yeah, 11 12 808, sorry. Okay, that's good. Let's go to the 15 minutes real quick. 15 minutes. Yeah, looks like potentially we're gonna bounce back up here. So let me just quickly try to show you guys how this works. Okay, we're gonna market buy $1 worth. Come on, refresh. Just to show you guys how it works. Okay, so what we're betting on here is, will Bitcoin in the current hour, which is from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, close above the previous hourly candle close? The target price to beat is 12,808 or $112,808.05. And people are, you can see, obviously are pricing in with a 61% probability that it doesn't. But if I'm looking at this chart here, that looks like we are bouncing up, right? Nice little double bottom, fake breakout over here to the downside. We are a little weak, so maybe I could get it cheaper. But on the hourly candle, I'm expecting this candle to close above the previous candle close. We opened exactly at around the previous candle close. Okay, so you can see how we opened exactly at the previous candle close. We're going down. Honestly, the more I'm looking into this trade, the less I like it. You remember how yesterday I said the job of a trader is to talk yourself out of a trade. If you can talk yourself out of a trade, you're already one step ahead of everybody else, because people are looking at this and they're going, oh yeah, double bottom, oh yeah, look at that, I think it's gonna get above this, right? But right now I'm doing my best to talk myself out of this trade, right? Look at this, lower high, lower low. I honestly don't think we're gonna be able to close above the previous candle close, in which case down should be winning. And you know what, we're gonna go with that. Man, okay, so now we bought $1 of Bitcoin to go down in this current hourly time span. We have 38 minutes for this market to resolve, and you can see how my $1 over here will basically pay me about $1.80 or about $2 in return, and I'm up 1% so far. You can see the chart moving over here, but more importantly, we can go to this chart and I can analyze this chart. And now if we get above 12,805, I'll just take my loss and I'll move on. Why would I want to sit down and hold the trade, right? I don't want to sit and hold onto this trade. I just put in 2 lines there. I don't want to sit and hold into this trade, so I'll just cut it for a loss if we do get back above this 1280. For now, it doesn't look like we're gonna get above it. We'll have 30 minutes or so, and this is just on the Bitcoin side, guys, right? This is just on the Bitcoin side. You can do this hourly, 15 minutes, 4 hours. Like, it's dumb. It's dumb. In my opinion, this is pure degen gambling. That's why you see how I don't put in a lot of money over here. But it's honestly automatable. You can turn this into an automation where a script trades for you every hour, right? A script trades for you every hour, and then you just have you know, a software trading for you on prediction markets. You have a software trading for you on direct crypto markets. And as I said earlier, this is just for crypto. If you go to finance, you can bet on, will Nvidia close above today's close or below today's close, right? Will Meta close above, below today's high or below today's close? They're even adding other commodities over here like silver, gold, oil, Airbnb, Palantir, Open Door, and all kinds of things. Hang Seng Index, really? Wow, okay. FTSE, that's the UK. Dow Jones, that's the Japan, which also made an all-time high. So, shout out to the Japan market over there. Quickly come back to the chart. Looks like I am still good. We're trading at 12,624. And if that position ends up winning for me, I will basically make peanuts, right? It doesn't matter what I make on it. I have 1.6 shares, so my $1 will give me 60 cents return. I'll get 60 cents return on my position over here. So basically making 60 cents on the dollar. That's not how it works. I'm just making 60 cents for my $1 bet in case I do get it right. And you can see basically I am in the money right now because Bitcoin is going down, right? Bitcoin is full $137 lower than the target price. People are still trading it. There's some people trying to buy up over here because they think it will go there. But if you just have a little bit better market knowledge than 90% of the people out there, prediction markets are degen kids who come from cryptos, right? Who come from crypto, who don't know a thing about limit orders, who don't know a thing about stops. They're absolute gamblers. They come from meme coin markets, right? So if you just know simple mechanics, you can literally print money on prediction markets every single day. Take advantage of it now before the sharks, the big banks, the hedge funds start rolling into this. Okay, so just go sign up for Polymarket if you haven't yet. Use my link. It's the Linktree link in the description below. I'll also copy it and paste it in the chat, so go check it out. DJT needs to run to $20 tomorrow. I don't know why it needs to. Why does it need to? I don't think it needs to do anything, right? And the fact that we rejected so hard from 1661, I don't think it's gonna go to 20 tomorrow. This is a clear rejection. If anything, tomorrow you might see the stock somewhere here and then break out of this range high in the next week or so. I don't think it's happening this week. Okay. Any other stocks you guys want me to take a look at? Martin wants me to take a look at UPS. Let's go take a look at UPS. Yeah, I talked about UPS very briefly. They reported earnings report. UPS is a weird one because they've been struggling for some real long time, man. They've been struggling for some real long time. FTX has been doing better than UPS, right? So, for a day trade, yeah, maybe UPS looks good. But I like to, I'm guessing, Martin, you're talking for a swing trade, right? For a swing, I usually like to look at stocks that are leaders in a sector, and UPS is far from being a leader in the sector. Also, it's a sector that's very, very slow and boring. Like, for example, what is UPS's average daily range? 2.24%. That sucks, dude. That sucks. I don't care about this anymore. I want to trade stocks and look exactly where it rejected from the 200-day moving average. That's not like voodoo magic. That happens because someone is still selling off of the 200-day moving average, as they have been selling since August 2023. You can even pull that even more and say since March of 2022. Someone has been selling on every pop into the 200-day moving average, and they're not done selling yet. Ugly chart. So I'm not interested. Look at stocks like Open Door. They move 10% in a day. Average daily range 10%. Why would you go park your money in UPS making 2% a day when you can pick a stock that could potentially go up 15-30% in a day, or also go down 15-30% in a day, right? No risk, no Rari. So you got to be ready to open up your wallets to some risk. RR looking pretty good over here, pulling back into the earnings VWAP, maybe some dip buy opportunity on RR. And if we break out of this one, that's going to be a monster squeeze on RR. So be ready for that one for sure, right? I was about to ask about Open. Yeah, these names are much more interesting because they have a catalyst. Even if the catalyst is stupid, they have a catalyst. The charts look good. They trade a ton of average daily range. They trade a ton of volume, 100 millions of shares every single day, right? So Once open door breaks above $859 and starts to look good above here again, that's something that you want to be involved in. Look at how it's holding the most recent earnings anchored VWAP. There was a name that we saw recently, I think yesterday. Oh yeah, SOFI. Look how cleanly it holds anchored VWAP from the earnings report, and now a new all-time high. Right, so I always love having anchored VWAPs from the earnings reports. I also like having anchored VWAPs from all-time highs and all-time lows, just so you can see how the action is taking place from the most recent high, from the most recent low. Are the buyers coming into play? You could also look at this as an anchored VWAP pinch setup. So that was a big breakout day. So this is the anchored VWAP pinch setup. Basically, this anchored VWAP from the last earnings report and the anchored VWAPs from the most recent high. This is the pinch. You're getting the pinch between the two VWAPs. And then once the VWAP breaks, comes back and tests, successfully holds on the test, this is where you long, okay? That is the place where you long, and then this is where your stop is. So good opportunities coming in on open. Either you take this breakout or you wait for the anchored VWAP pin setup confirmation, or you just do nothing and just wait for it to set up for a better trade. Pretty simple, right? So it matters very much what stocks you're watching, when you're watching, where you're watching. Trading, guys, is honestly very easy. Let me be honest with you. It's actually very easy. What makes it hard is psychology, emotions, having to deal with the notional value of money when you're losing money. Emotions start getting triggered. You get fearful. You get FOMO, especially when you see a trade going in the way and you want it to be in that trade. You start getting FOMO into that trade. So these things make, trading hard. And honestly, the one thing that I don't hear enough people talking about that makes trading the hardest is stock selection. There's thousands of names out there. Stock selection can make or break your trading day. I'm just having to reply to a text message here. Stock selection can make or break your trading day. Okay, so make sure that you are putting yourself in the right names. Right now it's earnings season, so it doesn't get easier when it comes to selecting names to trade, right? When it's earnings season, you just open up the earnings calendar. Okay, Boeing, did it move? Is it at a new range? Awesome, let's trade it. SOFI, did it move? Is it at a new range? All right, awesome, let's trade. But when it's not earnings season, things can get a little shaky for people. If you guys trade small cap stocks, let me know. I would love to talk about small cap stocks too. But I think for today, we had a good stream. We covered most of the movers, most of the names to be interested in tomorrow. Once again, my most go-to names for tomorrow will be the names that reported earnings today or will be reporting earnings tomorrow pre-market. I generally tend to favor stocks that already reported earnings instead of the ones that are reporting earnings, because these will have a conference call during the day, during the market hours. That can ruin the trade sometimes. For example, Boeing. If Boeing is moving around in pre-market because of the earnings report, but their conference call is at 10 o'clock, then you could get hurt very easily because you did not know that information. So let me go to Boeing. Look at that right there. Q3 2025 conference call is at, where'd it go? Is at 10:30 a.m. right? So you probably see that Boeing beat its earnings report. They're flying off to the upside. You're long, you're making money. Out of nowhere, a conference call comes in that you did not know about. And in that conference call, Boeing CEO is talking about how their planes are falling out of sky again and how bolts are not tightened enough. You did not know this information. Pew! Straight to the downside goes the stock, much like Boeing airplanes. You're screwed. You're shit out of luck, right? So I generally don't like to trade names that are reporting pre-market and also have a conference call during trading hours. If you have a conference call before trading hours, I'm okay with that because that makes my life easy. For example, Caterpillar reports pre-market, has a conference call before 9:30 at 8:30 a.m. That's a good one over there. That's a good one to keep an eye on. Carvana reports after hours, has a conference call after hours, so we don't have to worry too much about that. And tomorrow, actually, there is a bunch of mention markets for these conference calls. So potentially we'll be able to trade these live on stream, and also do some research for these on stream tomorrow, or maybe I'll have to do some research for these tonight after hours, and then make some positions over here, and then I'll update you guys on the positions on Twitter. So make sure you're following me on Twitter. Let's quickly go check that Bitcoin market, see if we are still in the money or not. We got 25 minutes left for this market. Up is now at 70 cents. Looks like we are losing, chat. We are about to lose $1. We're down 47%. Looks like you know, my little read over there on Bitcoin was actually wrong. My little read on Bitcoin was wrong. My original read was correct. My second read that I had on this was wrong. So looks like we did bottom out, and we did manage to get above the previous hourly close. So will be interesting if we do get above this 13,057. That's a guaranteed loss. But if we're not getting above 13,057, I think there's still a chance for me to come out victorious over here. Sadly, we bought this position at 61 cents. Now it's trading at 36 cents. And this is why I say this is pure degenerate gambling. There's not much edge to this, especially if you don't know what you're doing. You can lose a lot of money in this very quickly. There's some absolute sharks in this game, and they use bots to trade this market. So be very careful. You don't want to get caught off guard with people using bots like that puppy guy. I'm pretty sure this guy is using a bot to trade these. Okay, so if you are going to venture with these gambling markets, make sure you know what you're doing. Oh, look like we're gonna drop back down over here. 23 minutes left, and if I lose, I lose $1. I lose $1 for trying to showcase to you guys how exactly this works. Oh, look at that, it's driving down, it's driving down. And like I said, right, as long as we stay above that or below that 13,000, I think it's gonna close on the lower end. But if it does get above 113,000, sorry, if we do get back above 113,000, then the shorts are 100% wrong, and the longs are going to win. And based on that, I could have added to my position at 30 cents, brought my average down, basically live trading this like you're trading an actual stock. Absolute gambling. Okay, I'm heading out. I'm calling it a night. I gotta go do some other work. It looks like we are in the money now. It's back under the hourly close, and my position should be break even. Yeah, look at that, just break even. Ta-da! Technical analysis for you on Bitcoin, and how you can take advantage of that on Polymarket. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, 4:30, same time, same place. Go make some money. Peace. And yes, go Jays, go Blue Jays.